Hey friends, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and all that kind of stuff. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet for more Reddit content, and let's get into today's stories. Here, you forgot your trash. A few years ago, my then husband and I were in Orlando for a little 3 or 4 day Disney World trip. We needed to go to Walmart for a couple things, so we went to the closest one to the park property. My husband went inside and I waited in the car. As I was waiting, I see a couple older mid-40s or 50s ladies pull up a couple parking spots away from me. They got out of their car, pulled a basket over to their car, and filled it with trash from their back seat. After they filled the cart with all the trash from their back seat, they pushed the cart just a couple feet away from their car, and within a couple more feet of a trash can, and leave the cart. I watch in utter disbelief as these two ladies leave this cart full of trash within a few feet of a trash can, and just walk into Walmart like that's how they usually operate. I was so upset because honestly, I can't stand people who litter. Keep a hold of your trash and throw it away. It's not hard. I almost wanted to go find the ladies and tell them they left their basket of trash next to their vehicle, but I'm not a confrontational person. I just wanted these ladies to have consequences. Lucky for me, I noticed they left their windows cracked. It's Florida in the middle of summer, so it's hot and humid. Of course they left their windows down. Makes perfect sense, right? I get out of my car, bring the trash basket to the trash car, and proceed to start shoving all the trash back into the back seat of the car through the cracked window. Food was falling out of clamshell to-go boxes, liquids spilling from their containers, cigarette ash dumping from old cartons. I made sure to get all the trash out of the basket before pushing the basket back to a cart corral and getting back in my car to wait for my husband to come back, or to see consequences in action. Unfortunately, my husband got back to the car before I could see what their reaction was to the ghost's trashing. But damn, I wanted to. That spilled food was cooking in their back seats while they were inside, and I hope their car smelled like trash for a long time. Don't litter. It's not hard to throw your trash away where it belongs. A Walmart shopping cart isn't one of them. Property management company shuts off gas for 7 buildings. Manager organizes town hall only to run away and call the cops on 30+ tenants. Back in April, we had a gas emergency which led to 2 weeks without gas nor hot water. Despite many emails, the property management company provides no answers in writing and only verbally mentions the possibility of prorated rent. Fast forward to now, we are 10 days in without gas due to a leak, and we all receive a flyer announcing a town hall to discuss the situation with the affected residents. This took place about 4 hours ago. A regional manager came and introduced herself while announcing this wasn't a town hall but a resident appreciation day. She proceeds to have her team hand out chicken dinner and raffle tickets. Several neighbors expressed their confusion and frustration. The flyers didn't mention any of this. The exchange goes something like, "Welcome to Resident Appreciation Dinner. We have exciting upcoming projects, such as new windows, drainage maintenance, and possibly getting a paint job." And we say, "We are confused and want to talk about the gas emergency." And they respond, "No, we are here for the dinner with all residents, and we'll discuss the gas situation with those affected later in the main office, after dinner." Everyone sat around for over an hour eating until she attempted to start a raffle, which incited a neighbor to yell, "Raise your hand if you are here about the gas shortage." The entire group raised their hand. We started asking about the original flyer, which never mentioned a dinner or event. One resident from the back of the crowd stood up and explained he had placed the call to the gas company due to a gas smell in the laundry rooms. He's been a tenant for over a decade and he described some of his struggles with living there, the decline in quality. The regional manager made a call and tried to carry on the raffle while he spoke. One of the raffle items is rather tone-deaf. Kitchen gift basket during a time we can't use a stove. A woman shouted, "We can't even cook, stop with the raffle." And another said, "We just want to be heard." With the pettiness of a cartoonish villain, she said, "I was going to hear you all today, but because of your little speech, I won't be speaking to any of you today." Then she turned to leave her team behind to deal with the aftermath. Shortly after, 3 cops walked in to watch us. She called the cops on her own party. There was a unified groan from over 30 families, who had all been sitting there for nearly 2 hours at this point. I yelled out, "If she is going to leave us, we should all stay behind and organize for an attorney to represent us as a community." We all swapped contact info. Now I have a long list of emails in a Google Drive with 2 POV videos of the manager's walkout. This feels like a Parks and Rec skit come to life. For now, I've emailed the local housing authority and mediation board. I think someone is trying to contact the news. So it seems like those property managers did schedule this event to discuss the gas issue in some way. But instead of just getting straight to the point, which is why everyone was there, they decided to try to placate everyone and butter them up so they wouldn't be so upset with the dinner and raffle and whatnot. But it just kind of made things worse. And of course, the best way to respond to everyone's frustration would have probably been to just, listen and get on with the discussion. But no, the lady had to get upset about the fact that people were concerned about a gas leak. So better call the cops to keep this rowdy crowd under control and completely call off the discussion about a potentially dangerous gas leak. Because surely that can wait till later, right? Caught neighbors stealing electricity less than an hour after closing. Closed on a house. Went to go check out the backyard to imagine what we want to do with it in the coming weeks, and immediately saw this when we stepped outside. Husband went over and politely introduced himself to the dude and saw his wife sneak over to take the cord out real quick. We wrongly assumed they had gotten the hint and didn't bring it up to them. We left and came back later to find the extension cord hooked up to our place again. We simply unplugged it and the dude ran out of his house into our yard and started rattling off excuses, including, "I would have removed it if I saw you guys coming home," and that his fuse was blown and had someone coming to fix it tomorrow. Calmly told him it couldn't happen again and went back inside, turned off every breaker on that side of the house before we left. Part of me feels bad, but I also don't want to set a precedent for getting walked on by these neighbors. We're getting a fence soon, so that should be the end of it. But holy crap, really put a damper on our first day with the house. Refused to stop at a security check. I run security on an industrial site, which means I do occasional night shifts. The site stays open until 11 p.m. It has a number of businesses that work late, including a storage facility. Due to a recent demolition of one of the units, the storage facility opening hours have been restricted. One of my jobs is to stop anyone who wishes to come in between the hours of 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. to check they have access codes. It's a 30-second check. Everyone is happy to comply apart from this one arsehole who instantly took it as a personal attack. I stopped him at the security barrier with a pleasant greeting. "Good evening, sir. Are you trying to access the site?" "What's it got to do with you?" he replied. I explained if you wish to come in, I'd need to know why for security purposes. "I'm not telling you nothing. Who are you? What's it got to do with you anyway?" Calmly, I explained that anyone accessing the site after the hours of 8 p.m. and before 11 would need a valid reason or code if they want to come in, otherwise access will be denied. "F off, you ain't even got a badge. I'm not telling you where I'm going," he shouted. "No problem, buddy," I said. "In that case, you can't come in." As I turned my back, he drove up on the curb around the barrier and sped into the storage unit. Normally, I'd lose my crap and throw him out physically, but on this occasion, I took the revenge option. As it was close to 11 p.m. and locking up time, I decided to manually override the gate lock on the storage facility and lock him in. Returned to the front gates and locked them as well. As we are a police-patrolled site, I notified them of the situation in case the guy phoned them. It took around 40 minutes for my phone to start ringing. It's the contact number for emergencies. I knew the dickhead had realized he was locked in and I got around 15 calls. I ignored them all. Long story short, he had to wait until 4:30 a.m. to get out after my shift. It was delightful opening up the gates and waving him out with a super smug grin on my face. To add insult to injury, I informed the site owners and they have served him with an eviction notice. Act like a c***, get treated like a c***. Breaking a man's nose because he apparently didn't know what stop means. I, 21 female, went to the grocery store the other day to get 1 or 2 items and then go home. As I'm grabbing said items that were in different aisles, I see a man in his 40s or 50s following me quite closely. You may say, oh, maybe it's just a weird coincidence. He wanted something in that aisle. No, he didn't pick up or look at anything. Didn't even have a cart. A little more context, I was wearing a dress. Not ridiculously short, but it was short because it's 90 degrees outside. Anyway, I got uncomfortable and just went and checked out. I didn't see the man until I was almost to my car. He walks up and tries to start making awkward small talk. how old I am, the fact that my license plate is a different state than the one I was in, where I was coming from, if I have a boyfriend. I told him I wasn't interested and asked him to please leave me alone. He didn't and got closer to me. I have a very big ick about people boxing me into small spaces, and so I said quite loudly, "Please back away from me, I don't like this." He laughed and basically said, "Aw, she's upset, what a sweetheart," and is now 3 inches away from me. So I panicked and slammed the palm of my hand into his nose, which made it start bleeding. He began screaming at me, but I was panicking and just got into my car and left. Guy doesn't understand how blood pressure works. This happened a while ago. Was at a pharmacy picking up a prescription. Told it would take a while to fill, so I meandered the store. During my amble, I hear from the next aisle a bunch of racket and a string of profanity. I walk around to discover a man at the home blood pressure machines you can buy. He's ripped open the packaging of every version like a savage. He's standing there with a blood pressure machine attached to each arm, swearing away about how they display 2 different blood pressures. He's now yelling at the staff about how they sell garbage and he's going to report them to various organizations for it. He starts the machines up again and begins raving about how the numbers are higher now. Meanwhile, he's ranting and pacing the aisle. His face turns from red to purple during his rant. Staff are trying to explain that blood pressure changes based on activity, etc., but he won't listen. He starts the machines again, then explodes in new rage. "It wasn't this high when I was in emergency. What the f is with this broken shit?" He throws the cuffs on the floor and storms out of the store, demanding the other shoppers should leave and nobody should shop there. When the staff dealing with him muttered, "I hate when they do that," it crushed my faith in humanity. Alright guys, that's it for today's stories. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. And as usual, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Reddit content. So I'm out of here, take care, and I'll see you next time.